Whew. Who doesn't want to make a bigger impact, find purpose in their work, and at some point make some money? In short, who really doesn't want to become unstoppable at work? What we're going to do in this video is just walk through a 5 easy step framework, and at the same time tie that to an article that I read in Inc.com that talks about unstoppable traits, and we're going to match those with each step. Aloha, I'm BRETRANOA, and on this channel all we do is cover mindset, actual tactics and skills, and reminders to get you ahead faster in your career or business. You got to start before you're ready. Makes total sense. You got to dig in, you got to go for it. Don't overthink this. If you have a plan, you know exactly what you need to do, and be true to yourself. Now, let's see how we can put these into the framework in a real world scenario. We start out with, where are you really?
Through our careers, through decisions that we make, through things that we do, we get to a spot. And if you don't know yourself, you may get to a spot where you're either playing really small or you're settling. But if we don't stop, drop, and roll and kind of take a second about us, you will never really enjoy what you're doing. Is you got to know yourself. And what we mean by this is having some really honest conversations with ourselves. And that's really kind of, where am I at? Where am I really at? Interesting conversations to have with yourself. And that is going to be inclusive of everything that you're doing. Where am I at financially? Where am I at with my health? Where am I at with my work? All of those types of things. And if you just take 10 minutes and really sit with yourself and pen to paper some of this stuff down, you will get a better sense of a direction to go, because it really tells you, like, okay, here's my starting point, here's my input to the GPS map. Like, if I don't know where I'm starting, like, regardless if I had an end goal and I put an end goal in the GPS, if my starting point was wrong, I would never ever get there. And so this is just the starting point, and it helps you find some of that continued progress and motivation at work.
Next 3 traits, unstoppable traits: always be prepared, think and act 10 times, 10x, and take the shot every time. Now let's put this into action. This is going to fit right into, where am I going?
The second portion of that is, where do I want to go? What do I really want to accomplish? And you don't, people, they say, oh, have SMART goals and go 5 years out. I've always gone much shorter term. COVID has brought on this sense of not fear necessarily, but a new realization. I used to have this thing, like, I would say, like, they could never do that. They could never shut down a state. They did. The government could never do that. Oh, they did. And so that is no longer in my vocabulary. Now I'm like, oh, well, it's all up in the air. So let's get some, Brett. Like, I could do whatever I want now because I don't really know what the ground rules are. You could get scared on that, or you could find endless opportunities in that. And I choose to find the opportunities, but for where I'm going. So I type in my starting point, really knowing where I'm at. And what that means is, like, what do I want? Where am I good? Where am I at? What's my current situation? Where do I want to go? And then from there, I can look at intentions, or what people call goals. Like, what do I intend to do?
So a couple more traits, right? Set goals that far exceed your current capabilities. Go for it. Always work on your mental strength. Don't be afraid of the consequences of failure. We're going to show you something a little bit about this, but what this means is, what are our intentions? What are our goals? What are we trying to accomplish? This is your why you've decided to do whatever course of action you want to do.
This is work, this is life, but for here, we're talking about work. I have to know why I want to do it. I think we had a team member last week share with us, super honest, was like, I don't have a plan. And that's okay. But as we develop one, you want a good why. Because our days that are hard here are really, really hard. They test you. One of the things that derails us, we go backwards. We feel like nobody's listening. I've asked this person to do this. It's not happening. We get a bad scorecard. All those things could blow up your day. But if you don't have a good why, you're not going to make it through. And this is for any habit. This is for anything. If you've thought about your why in detail, what's one of your whys, why you're here?
Why am I here is because I want to be able to have a greater impact on the organization. And by doing so, that's going to help me grow as a leader and add value to not only myself, but to the people around me.
Yep. So impact, right? More impact. Anybody else want to share, like, deep why that helps you get through the day?
For me, it is simply that I know I have the ability and I want to help people fulfill the potential.
So those are things, and why I'm asking people to give their examples is those are things that you can lean back on when the days get tough. Justin's example is, I know I'm here to make a bigger impact, and almost ties in with Rose's, to get people to their full potential and or help them find a purpose, whatever that might be. And we can lean back on that. So as we start to look inward, we're getting our starting point, looking back where we want to go. We made some kind of intentions or goals, if you will, and then we have a good why. That why can absolutely pull us through some of our tougher days, if you will. The other piece, motivations and values. So as I stop and think about me before I get to an organization, when I stop and think about me and where I'm at in the organization, I'm honest with where I'm at. I'm honest with where I want to go. Lightly jot down some ways or some goals or intentions that I want to do. I have a pretty good why. Don't spend a bunch of time psychoanalyzing yourself and second guessing yourself. But if you're really honest with yourself, you start to see these trends. If you were to ask me when I was in my 20s, where are you, or what's your why? I would have easily said pay and job title. If it was a pie chart, it would have been 50-50. I want to make a ton of money and I want the right job title, because I was younger. I didn't know better. In my 20s, that would have been my statement. If you asked me now, I would say that the pie chart is cut up in like 8 different slots, right? There's family, there's my health, there's my relationships, there's purpose at work. Job title would have gone from 50% to really about 5% for me. I could care less what my job title, and you don't have to spend a ton of time. All I'm asking you to do is just kind of think about it, because it'll help you develop and or kind of fine tune your plans. The last piece that you need to really look at is what are your interests? I get this question a lot too, like, hey, what should I do next, Brett? And it's a loaded question, right? It's where your interests lie. What motivates you? What part of the job, what part of the career or next position do you like? What it is not is looking on what's on our career board and trying to fit you into something. I would say that's a terrible career move. Your why would be off, your interests and motivations would be off. It might not match your core values. So here's the part where you need to think about what you're excited about, what you enjoy about each and every position. You can level up just on yourself, right? Everything we do here, don't forget, everything you're doing here is resume building.
So focusing on yourself in these 5 easy steps, maybe 10 minutes, but it hits all the unstoppable traits. Therefore, you're gonna be unstoppable. Nah, knowing you makes you unstoppable. It helps you make any decision, helps you go after projects, helps you advance in your career, find more impact, make more impact. Knowing yourself is a starting block, foundation for everything that you want to accomplish.